So, what's weirder, for someone to call you Jessica or someone to call you Jess?
Um, Jessica, like my full name. I never use it in real life, so it's like kind of like reserved for like, the mother, like Jessica
Getting
and
mad at you.
Trinega.
Jessica Chernega, get to your room right now. No dinner for you.
Yeah, so it's just weird all around.
Yeah, I can feel that. All right, guys, welcome to Copa America. We are in Season 3. This is Group B. All of these wonderful things rhyme. But this is the first match of the day. This is a best of 3. The winner will go most likely fight against Ruff. Once again, I know there's a lot of Ruff fans in the audience tonight. I do promise you guys we will try and get some Ruff games. But for those who missed it at the start of the cast, the announcement is Ruff's opponent is a no-show currently. So if he gets an opponent, cool, maybe we'll get some games. If he doesn't show up, then he gets a walkover and we'll play the winner of this series. So there you have it. For now, spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map, though, to start this off from Shot Esports, it is Cealer.
In the upper right, as the red Zerg, it's KLG Jimrising.
I really like Chaos Latin Gamer's whole like red motif. It works really well with his color right now. I feel like this is like a design show for StarCraft. This is just beautiful and magnificent. But yeah, in all seriousness, for this series, let me swap this around. Jimrising's got my favorite before we even get into this, and for multiples of reasons, mostly the fact that Cealer has proven himself to be a pretty good player. I mean, he's gotten to the group stages multiple times for Copa America. Actually, no, it may have only been Season 1 I'm thinking back to. Anyways, my point for all of this comes down to the fact that I've seen Jimrising play in a lot of WCS-related things, qualifies for IEMs. I've personally invited him to several show matches that I've hosted. Jimrising is a very talented player, and while I might not know the world's greatest in-depth knowledge about Cealer, I know a lot about Jimrising and I have a lot of faith in this guy to take this series.
I think the correct thing to say is we don't know anything about Cealer. There's some players that we've learned of in Copa America
Well,
for
he
sure.
keeps freshness in.
What? Anyways, so we know about B-Lord now, right? And I can't think of any other names right now, but I don't think we've ever cast Cealer. And if we did, I feel like he may have just lost out to like a player we assumed was gonna win, so that's why we don't remember. But obviously he got into the group stages today, which is pretty cool. Don't think it's happened for him before.
Really, I could have sworn he was in Season 1 groups. Maybe I'm thinking of a different Terran. Killzer?
Well,
No, Killzer got knocked out by Huck in Season
I could
1.
actually check if I wanted to. I mean, whatever.
I mean, it'd be cool if you did, but no big deal.
Okay, not 2. Okay.
I know it wasn't 2, because there was only one Terran that was major.
No, he wasn't in 1 either.
No, really? I thought... Okay.
Sendo and Jarpy were 2 Terrans that were in...
Jarpy must be who I'm thinking about, because I remember Sendo, we were making jokes about Sendo.
Right.
But okay, so Cealer makes it to the group stages for a first time then. That's my bad. And even cooler then. We'll see if...
yeah.
I mean, the thing is, the dynamic of Ares possibly being a no-show is you go from having a 2 in 4 chance of getting out of your group alive to a 1 in 3. Pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's
still up against... Yeah, but it's still up against really good players that you just... I mean, you get lucky, maybe something will happen. Let's see what he could prove or show us today, though. Again, I don't think we cast him in the qualifiers either, so you just have no idea what this guy can throw at us.
Oh,
We do know...
Rolling's back.
Yeah, we do know a bit about Jimrising, though, and Jimrising is good and a little weird. Not rough weird, but a little.
Right, so to explain the weirdness, we've seen him prioritize things like heavy Zergling control versus Terran instead of Mutalisks, back when Mutalisks were kind of the haymakers of this matchup. We see him use Banelings at strange timings. It's nothing at all cheesy, it's just the timings are anything but standard, and the compositions are usually a little bit odd to see. But that's not to say he can't play standard. I mean, we see him do cool things, like when he played versus Bly in that one show, or sorry, Puck versus that one show match, we had like Muta Corruptor almost every single game. So I mean, there are certain standards that work for Jim.
Yeah.
Although, I'm just remembering, I don't remember if it was a consequence of being in Nation Wars. I know he didn't get forfeited. He like lost his group last season though, which was kind of shocking. Because he was one of those guys we had favorited to go through to the round of 8s.
Sure. He just he lost to a group with Hendlisk and Huck, so that was just I think being in a really good group,
Yeah.
Not much else. I do kind of remember those games, kind of, sort of. Darn it. Hate when that happens. We do have a Roachborn on the way.
Ooh.
I don't believe it was scouted. Nope.
I'm just thinking back. No, actually, you know what? I think that group. I remember casting because that was the one way to do for replays, and Hengelis came on to go commentate his own games. And I think it was a Fear Dragon that night. I want to say.
Oh.
Yeah, I forgot about because Jimrising got like 2-0-2-0'd or something like that. It was really surprising. Anyways, irrelevant for now. We'll see how he does in this match, of course. Orochus, as you pointed out, are on the way. What I do like is that for now it's a low amount, so it's just a couple defending against Hellions maybe going for Evo Chambers in favor over top of Banelings. So we're not gonna have that Roach Bane all in. Definitely a lot harder to execute on this map with the ramp the way it is.
Yeah, the ramp and it's cross, so it's a lot longer distance for the roaches to travel. With only 5 roaches, that's pretty much exactly what? How?
Depot is down. Mistakes are made. SCVs will die. Cealer losing a lot more SCVs than I thought should have.
He should not have attacked. His Hellions were about to pop out. He should have just tried to run and wait.
So 6 SCVs for 6 Lings. That's called
totally
value.
worth it. But there is some damage going on in the natural. I mean, a lot of damage going on in the natural.
The drop was a bit of a nuisance. He didn't really lose much for this, and the Roach just kept the Hellions out. I mean, one of the biggest things about this drop, not a single drone was killed, but also that's meant to distract Jim so the Hellions can run up that ramp to the main, but Jim wasn't caught off guard by this at all. The Roaches were ready to defend, and these Hellions did nothing.
Yeah. Well, Jimrising scouted this build. He saw the starport without any tech lab near it, so that's why he was so well prepared. But I thought that Cealer, losing the medevac is the worst thing you can do. Because that drop, if it doesn't do any damage, that's sometimes still okay, because you can find damage to do with it. Because they don't have any anti-air besides Queen. So the fact that he lost it completely is just, now it is like complete waste.
There's people like Xenosetter too. I've seen make like that first drop only has 3 Marines live, and he keeps using it for the next like 40 minutes of the game.
Exactly.
I mean, it's the threat of that medevac that's so powerful. But Roaches look like they will be cleaned up. Hellion Fire is going to be more than enough. The Marauders, well, there's only 1.
A lot of Hellions. 9 Hellions in total.
I think it's a shockingly large amount of Hellions. Does lose. Which other game gets the money for it? Be focused fire the Hellions. If you could kill probably about 2 Hellions with this too, but they do clean this up. The nice thing about Hellions is, well, they don't deal a lot of damage to Roaches. If you got enough of them, they'll get the job done. It's just
a surprising amount, and I'm not sure when exactly he saw the Roaches, like whether he considered to make them after he saw the Roaches or what, but if that was the case, then that's kind of like, why would you even? Now that the Roaches are down, he does go in, a couple more are popping out, and he's going to try and roast some drones, but there's too many Lings. He doesn't even have to pull into this with the drones.
Yeah, he's not going to get enough drone kills to make that worthwhile. There's always so many Hellions for 5 drones.
Yeah, it always seems so great because you see an opening, but honestly, if they have any amount of Lings in like a decent position, not even like a really fantastic position, it's usually not worth it. They just the Hellions get too choked in, they get surrounded, they just don't kill a lot of drones. It's only when like they're completely like risk-free that we see those massive drone kills. But that was a big waste, that could have also been a bunch of Hellbats helping out a future push, which would have been so much more helpful.
We've been seeing these Hellbat pushes devastate Terran players across the board. Korea, North America, Europe doesn't really matter. And while that power is not really available anymore, it's the potential of what could have been. Now he does have 1-1 on the way. He's got his stim pack finished up. I mean, Cealer is a little bit behind. I don't really like that emphasis and effort into the Hellions, and again, got nothing for it. So these upgrades being delayed the way they are going to really cost him, as far as the mid game goes, at least.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to continue making Hellions, like going into a Hellbat style. Yeah, he is. It's just...
But that's what I love about Jim. Like, he's still showing Roaches, but he's investing in the melee upgrades. He's going for the Banling speed. He's getting the Spire behind this. I mean, Serial might end up making a lot of... I mean, right now it's fine, but like, I'm a little bit worried he might make too many Marauders, because, like, surprise, Lings and Mutas. Good luck, have fun.
That could happen, and really, I'm kind of surprised he isn't falling for the trap, just because of how many Roaches he's seen, but I guess he's assuming they're kind of just counteracting the amount of oddly number of Hellions he has, like it's a bit back and forth, but looks like Cealer really hasn't fallen for it, or at least hasn't started making additional Marauders yet. Oh, nope, there they are. Never mind. Does think that maybe a Baneling Roach style is coming in. Yeah, those Marauders, I mean, they're helpful. They soak up some Banelings, especially if they're miscontrolled. But that's usually 1 at a time. 1 every cycle is usually enough. 2 per cycle is usually because you think they have Roaches.
That's getting Overlords getting cleaned up. So I mean, Cealer, the thing is, like, while he is not doing fantastically right now. He is keeping a clear mindset, and he's still making a lot of the right moves. Cleaning up the overlords might seem like a minor thing, but preventing scouting later on. He's still got this third base up and running. I mean, he's behind, don't get me wrong. Jimrising's got an upgrade lead. He's got this fourth base up and running. Hell, he's going to be moving on to Hive Tech shortly. But Cealer's not letting this sort of fall apart. There's some players we watch, and I'm talking about even the best of the best, they take a quick loss in the early game, and you can feel that resonate with them for the rest of the match. But Cealer, on the other hand, seems kind of unfazed by the messy start here.
He might be unfazed, you know, maybe playing it calm, but it's not...
Maybe it's ignorance is bliss moments.
Yeah, kind of. That might be the perfect way to say it, right? He's like, okay, so I lost, you know, some units and stuff, but I still have an army. Problem is he's 3 minutes late on this push out. No creep was cleaned up. This army isn't even very big to make up for that late push out. It's down by about 40 supply. A drop in the main does try and distract Jimrising, so maybe he can snipe the fourth. And if he snipes the fourth, I mean, hey, that's a lot more than I thought he was going to get. But the army will be cleaned up.
Yeah, he's going to get the fourth, but you're right. There's not enough medevacs to actually carry these units away. Or might not. Yeah, he should get the fourth. A little bit scared. There's lings flooding in. But, yeah, he gets the medevac away. Doesn't even pick any units up. So really, really not worth a base snipe. Not in this particular instance. Jimrising with 80 drones, it really doesn't matter that that fourth base is down. He doesn't really need the economy. He's actually double expanding behind this 2 to make up for that loss. So we'll be on bases 4 and 5 shortly. Lots of banelings morphing in here outside the front of the base. Hive Tech on the way, but what do we have for poor Cealer but Blue Flame? And that's not going to benefit him much at all.
Yeah, and it's not even that scary. He has like 1 Widow Mine. If there was a Widow Mine, like a minefield, maybe Jimrising can't quite push in yet. He has to be very careful about what he pushes in. But with with Hellions, as long as you have a good number of banelings, you can probably just push in. I'm honestly surprised he's not doing so. Maybe because his mute is doing so much damage.
Yeah, 21 workers dead so far here. The count continues to rise. This base needs to be lifted. Nope, too late now. It's actually going to die pretty much no matter what. Bailing's Burmer in the middle of the map, and that, well, losing that orbital is really going to hurt super duper bad. There's a Thor on the way, and there's a good chunk of Marines, but, I mean, for Jim, this was easy harass. This was free pickings.
That's exactly what it was. It was free. I think he lost 1 Muta. That was it. He's going up to high. He double expanded. His upgrades are better by a long time, and that's odd. I kind of assumed the 2-2 is about to finish for Cealer, but obviously not. They're still not even halfway done. Jimrising should just like kill. there's a kill move here, and he could take it.
But it's one of those things where he doesn't want to underestimate this. It's very easy to throw a game by losing all your banelings and not having anything else followed up.
Yeah.
But of course, he doesn't know just how far ahead he is. I mean, the army supply is the overall supply is almost all. Hell, he's got 94 drones for goodness sake. I mean.
Oh God. Ooh.
That's actually too many drones.
Exactly. That's about 20 too many drones. I wonder why his army looks so small. His army is small, so like, and if he runs all these in a Marauders,
look, size isn't everything. It's about the effectiveness of the Mutalisks, okay?
Nah, he cleans it up even with the surprisingly small amount of units that he has. The Mutas don't even bother getting involved in the fight. Nothing but Marauders. Well, a couple Marines live, but he just goes in the direction. Yeah, it's...
That Glaive Worm though. Ugh.
Yeah. Drop at the 5th, but it is a 5th, so like even if it dies. Matter.
He's on top. I mean, the production's on top of this point. Jimrising is going to double the supply of his opponent now. And the thing is, even though, again, it's 92 workers, he doesn't need a lot to stop this. I mean, he's going to stop the attacks right now, but there's not really the necessity to. He'd already got on top of the production line. He already picked off a good chunk of reactors and tech labs.
And Cealer is still on 2 bases. It looks like he was trying to build a 3rd, what should have been his 4th, but it got sniped.
I guess the one small upside to this was he did pull Jimrising out of his base, but, you know, at what cost? Everything dead. Ultra's going to be available here, but the medevac's dying and the small amount of Marines that are remaining are not going to be enough to win him this game.
Yeah, that's just it. Down by, half the supply of Jimrising, goes to the bunker, tries desperately to hold on, but
all these CVs.
There's nothing he can do. The Widow Mines aren't even burrowed. Like, the only thing that would have saved him, you know, that start was just bad, all right? The start was bad. That's why, like, everything else seemed really, really shaky. You know, maybe a better player could have made it look a bit better, but, like, still, that was just a horrible situation to be put into.
I mean, we could be PC about this. Maybe we can try and hype up somebody who's not deserving of it. But I think the bottom line comes down to Jim just outclasses this guy. And I mean, no disrespect to Cealer, but again, this speaks more to like how good Jim is than how bad Cealer is. Like, I'm not calling Cealer bad. It's just more that Jim is just in a different league. He's like way better.
Yeah.
Well, gotta give it some moments here, but I'm sure we'll have the next game ready to go here in a moment's time. Did Jim actually, you know what, I don't know, did he make it to WCS this season? I think he did, right? To at least Challenger League. No?
Oh, you mean, sorry, no?
No, because remember I cast him in one of the qualifiers. This wasn't, I couldn't remember if he had actually qualified or not.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, I wouldn't be surprised if
I
he
could
didn't,
check.
sadly.
Still on Wikipedia.
I mean, was it season 2? No.
He still doesn't have anything on like his notable wins.
I guess just Copa America participations. Yeah, I'm looking at his Wikipedia page right now.
Meow, meow.
Oh, there's your cat being a chatty catty.
Your cat is.
What? No, my cat's sleeping. She's not making any noise. What are you talking about?
Dude, I totally heard a cat. And it wasn't my cat.
Oh, you know what? It might be the stupid kids outside the street.
Oh, I hate how kids kind of sound like cats.
God, I hate kids. Just period.
No, sometimes I'll hear like a kid screaming, and I think it's my cat screaming, you know?
Oh, no.
So I'll be like, oh my god, like the collar's like caught somewhere, or like, I don't know, and then it'll just be like kids running outside. Okay, let's just talk about how kids just scream way too often, alright? So even if you don't think it's a cat, you just think that the kids are getting murdered, and like, not sure if having fun or getting murdered.
Okay.
Really? So? You don't have that problem? Well, you live in like the boonies or something.
Yeah, murder's not a present issue for me and the children.
Yo, I'm just saying, like they're yelling like help, help, help because you know they're playing a team game, I guess. And it's just like, you know, there hasn't been a kidnapping or anything around here ever, maybe, but they're like, it's like kind of like the boy called Wolf, I guess. Like one day you're gonna wish you didn't scream help because of a game.
I feel like
just saying, it's a warning.
I feel like we live in two totally different worlds. Like I don't want to live in the world you live in, Zamiko.
Well, it's so odd because I live in like a place that is next to zero crime. So I really shouldn't be afraid, but whatever. Okay, well, what if it's not murder? What if it's just them, like, I don't know, like they broke a leg? Like, well, I broke my arm around here once, and I didn't scream about it, but they like to scream.
I wasn't a baby about it or nothing. I don't know why these kids gotta be such wimps about these things.
No, basically, yeah. Jeez.
You're all kinds of the worst.
Yo, no, I was like 10, man. This isn't me like 20 years old breaking my arm and complaining.
No, but I'm like,
you're
like smack talking kids right now. You're like 23 or whatever. You're
but
like,
from
stupid kids don't know any better. Like, bunch of idiots.
From the perception of like me as a 12-year-old, you know, when I was 12, I didn't yell out loud when I got hurt. I sucked it up.
When I was 12, I learned to walk it off. We didn't have Obamacare when I was little.
Legit. Like, my mom always, like, thinks that she, like, every time I tell her this, she's like, oh, you think I'm a terrible mother? And I'm like, no, just a thing. But you just didn't cry around my mom. Like, you didn't complain. She, like, didn't care. So, like, you just learn really quickly just be like, nah, walk it off. I was a terrible mother, wasn't I? No, Mom.
You're going to be a terrible mother. Your kids are going to be like...
I'm going to be exactly like my mother, right? I'm going to be like, now just walk it off.
You're the only person who could ever say that with a smile.
Your bone is peeking through your ankle. Could you just walk it off? My brother, when he was really young, was like climbing like a wall or something, and he fell, and he didn't realize that he had actually like skinned himself so badly the bone was showing.
No, please.
But he started crying just because he wanted Mom's attention, right? So Mom goes over and is like, "What's the matter?" And she's all like, you know, like, whatever. And then she sees it and starts like being hysterical, and like my brother realizes that he's like actually hurt, and then he starts really crying.
Hang on, I'm gonna play the one-up game here, because I've got a scar that I still have on my knee to this day because I was too scared to get stitches when I was little. But we were running around the house, and I straight up ran into a piece of board that was sticking out of the wall.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it impaled my right leg. It was pretty awesome. And
That's gross.
I didn't trust the doctors because I was like, what's this? The orange juice they're trying to give me tastes funny. Why does it taste funny? Because it had anesthesia in it, right? But like, they're not telling
Orange
me
juice.
that. Yeah.
I didn't know you like orange juice.
Well, no, they give you like kids stuff for it because they can't give you like a giant needle. The needle's bigger than you when you're like 5 years old, right? So I have trust issues ever since then because it's like, they're trying to poison me, Dad. It's not really orange juice. I know it's not.
Yeah, I thought switches would hurt too, and they didn't really hurt. So get over it, man.
Yeah, I should have walked it off.
Yeah.
Just taken the board out and walked it off. All right, welcome back, guys. Our weird stories aside, we are in game number 2 in this first best of 3 of the day. The winner of this series will go on to fight against Jimrising. From what I can tell, he's been given a walkover on account of the fact that the admins told him he can go play ladder while he waits for his match. So, should Jim win, I think we'll have a very interesting winner's match. But maybe Cealer surprises us all. Maybe the first game was just him not feeling so good. I don't know. We'll see if he can impress us or not, though. Spawning in the top right corner of the map, it is going to be the man of the hour, the blue Terran player, Cealer from Shot Esports.
Ah, a word I recognize. Gusta. Me gusta.
That's the thing where not ganders, but gustas, right?
What? In
Gustas?
the bottom right. As the red Zerg, it's Jimrising.
The gander's a male goose? Come on.
I had no idea.
Oh, really? Like, actually?
Yeah, like actually.
Dude, that's like
I've
the
never
oldest.
heard that before.
That was okay. That was like Family Guy was the what taught me that word. Because there's this really stupid episode where they were like in a medieval fair or Renaissance fair or something, and they're like, "Wouldst thou take a gander up my frock?" And of course, I only know gander to mean look, right? So he takes a giant goose and shoves it up her dress. You never seen that?
I just feel like I wonder if that's just Family Guy being weird.
No, it's an actual thing. Like, gander is a male goose, yo. Now
yeah,
you know.
gander is an adult male goose.
Yeah, the more you know.
Yeah, the more I know.
Geese
This
is
is
the
going to be
plural
very
sheep.
useful. This is so useful.
Yep.
It's also a thoroughbred racehorse.
Oh, fantastic. I didn't know that. All sorts of animals.
Or a Newfoundland dog.
Newfoundland? Is that like Newfoundland?
Newfoundland.
All right. So we actually have a double racks opening here to Cealer. This is a bit odd. It is a full wall off, I guess. I think. Maybe. I don't know. I've never seen anyone I shield with double racks like this.
It is. Although, no, wait. Hold on.
So this, I don't think this is going to work out, though, the way he wants it to, because if this is going to be double Reapers, it's not going to get a lot done. If he's going for lots of Marines early on, Bomber style, I don't think that's going to work either. I don't know about the
usually I'd be
racks.
saying you're silly, but I thought he was just doing this after a 14cc, but he does get that one gas.
Yeah, that's what I was...
Yeah, that is weird.
Well, we'll see what he's got planned for it. I am curious to see how Cealer tries to get things done. Opens up the Marine, though! I guess he doesn't have the gas for Reaper. But he's on one... Why take a refinery with one?
I don't understand. So, guys, if you go for a 14cc, you follow up with 2 racks, yes, but then the double gases go down at, like...
Yeah, it's the gas being taken so early that's really throwing me for a loop for this.
Yeah,
I mean,
1 gas early is, like, usually not what you do. You get double gas at, I think, like, 19 or 21, I forget. So...
Well, he'll have a couple Marines out at least, so he can tango with the Zerglings that are coming. It's only
he
4
might... Well, I mean, he's gonna get... Whatever. He's probably gonna go up to the factory ways and...
I like this out of Jim. I like the early Pneumatized Carapace. We really don't see a lot of people make use of this, but on a map like Deadwing, I think it's going to be fantastic. For those who don't know, Pneumatized Carapace, it's a tier 1 upgrade now and has been for a while, but almost nobody, I think like Happy Zerg, Suppy, and Destiny are literally the only 3 Zerg players I can think of who actually use this before layer tech. But what this does do is speed up your Overlords so fast that they can actually scout your entire base and get out alive without Marines being able to kill them. So you don't have to sacrifice them like you're used to doing.
Yeah. Okay, so I was wondering, right? I thought he was gonna just I was prepared to say he would just go to a regular factory, but that's not the case. He gets a reactor way earlier, and obviously he gets a tech lab too. He's gonna be doing some type of bio push, hoping to catch Jimrising off guard. Because you don't get the bailing nest until, if you think it's a normal game, you don't even get it till your layer's about to finish. That's pretty greedy, but that's usually what they do. So now that he scouts it though, he'll get either a Roachborn or Bailing Nest, whatever he wants to defend this. He won't be caught by surprise.
And there's the Speedy Overlord making great use. So the logic on this too, just to talk a little bit on the Zerg point of view, is it's almost just as effective to go for the faster layer, just getting Overseer instead. But if you're not planning to go for that layer tech pretty quick, you can stay on 3 bases like this and put your gas towards the roaches, speed, banelings, whatever. This upgrade actually ends up being pretty worth it. And for Jim, as we see, once again coming with the Overlord, he's looking to see whether it's going to be a lot of Marauders or if it's going to be heavy Marines. The other thing, too, is for him to keep an eye on what's going to happen with his factory. He needs to know whether it swaps to the reactor, if it's just going to be for the tech lab for a starport, or anything quite so strange. But this push coming down the middle of the map, I mean, this is pretty early and is going to not quite have stim associated with it.
Yeah, it's an anti-timing. I don't even...
Well, you know, it's killing creep tumors, so he's got that much room for. Armory for Hellbat follow-up?
I guess so. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, this is going to be a bit of a pain to clean up. He's got the mineral line positioning really nicely here. The Queens don't have that much DPS on them, but roaches are popping in about a second. And one Marauder is good, but even with stim, it's not going to stop roaches.
It is. This is a very not scary push for Jimrising. It might have been scary had there been stim and he completely not scouted it.
Guys, what are you doing here? Go home.
Those must have been for bunkers.
On creep?
Okay. You know, he probably sent them before, like, you know, he like was microing so he didn't realize that they had gone so far up.
Sure.
Because if they were just rally, they wouldn't come 4 at a time. They come 2 at a time.
Well, I know it wasn't rally, but I thought he was gonna bring them to like repair Hellbats or something, right? Like I didn't think that was gonna be like just, sup guys, you know, where's the party? Oh, we're late.
This is so anticlimactic. I'm sorry, guys. Like
it really is.
Can't even hype this up. Like Jimrising knew everything that was gonna happen. There was like never a point where. Because he had got fast overlords. Even without the fast overlords, like he knew it would have known what was happening. He wouldn't have played it really greedy. He's not gonna be able to bust this, I guess, because he doesn't have like a Baneling nest, but there's no need to.
As you say, you could actually probably just pick up one of the depots and flood it afterwards, but yeah. So
Stuff. Okay, so while
that
push didn't do a whole lot, I mean, he's gonna have a follow-up push.
He,
oh my God.
you know, one of the things is, you know, last game, Cealer wasn't really able to do any damage to Jimrising's worker line. He never killed a lot of drones to these drops. But this game, you know, he forced out so many Zerglings, it was almost like killing drones. You know, they never got bored. They never really a chance to live in the first place. He aborted the drones, I guess, instead of killing them. So, Jimrising is I don't know how I've tried to sell this. I just can't. Like there's such a weird push, and I don't love it.
Yeah, you know what they should bring back? Just the good old like Hellion Marauder, but with Hellbats. You know, which they do have a version of that. There's like Polt used one that was Hellion Marauder, like on 2 base.
Yo, I really like that. Yeah, what Polt did like before the Hellbat changes, back on like what was that MLG versus Hyun on Neoplanet S was probably my favorite Hellion Marauder anything.
Yeah. Let's just bring that back.
just bring it back. Bring sexy
just a
back
1 base
too.
version too, like a 1 base version, like that's so strong. JK. Guys, I can't like. Okay, well this is like. Well, actually, you know what? Cealer has an army. It's looking pretty good.
It does have stim. It's worth noting, but most of these units don't benefit from stim because it's all Hellbats. So.
Well, if he splits, if he has to split everything, you know, Hellbats are pretty tanky. Splits the Marines into the Banelings.
You were saying what?
The idea is that they split kind of the Hellbats and they explode on the Hellbats too. Not that they explode on the bio and die a horrible death. Also without the upgrades again, not so good.
Once again, with the killbot strategy in mind, he does eat all the Banelings, so there's no Banelings left. So he's got that going for him.
Everything is just so mistimed. Like I don't even know.
I want to stress for those who missed it in the load screen, but like Cealer's a Masters League player. Like this isn't some random guy who like snuck through. Like it had some easiest bracket ever. You had to go through qualifiers to get here. He plays the Master League. It's awkward. It's weird, but I think a lot of this probably comes down to the fact that he knows he's fighting against Jimrising, and I imagine whatever his standard is, he knows probably isn't going to work. So he's trying to shake it up, and I actually admire that.
There are some things that are not standard that still shake it up. Like any type of 2 base like early drop build is really good. You know, maybe not Hellbat builds because Jimrising has shown in that last game he went for a Roach Warren, so maybe that ain't gonna work. But like, you know, I don't know if he has that Marauder Hellion push, you know, in his back pocket, you know, then use that. Or if he has a 2 base drop without combat shields, use that.
Right, but here's the good thing for Cealer, right? Like if Ares is a walkover, then he automatically wins the losers match. So he's gonna be in the finals, no matter what. This He's got
Yes,
that
that's
going
true.
for him. I'm trying to be the positive guy here, all right? Look at the silver linings of things.
You know what? This is just a situation where we gotta look at Cealer and just be like, walk it off, man.
Walk it off.
Your bone is showing, but just walk it off.
Oh man, full circle with that. Well played. Well done.
Yeah, someone just tweeted at us and said he had similar life experiences.
I feel like this reminds me a lot of like when we were watching Desro as well in Copa America. Like for Jimrising right now, I think a lot of us might be screaming like, "Why doesn't he just finish him? This Terran player doesn't know what he's doing." Blah blah blah. But the reality is, like, it's about playing safe and not throwing the game to like one stupid engagement, because that's all it takes sometimes. Like one bad engagement, losing all your banelings, and having nothing to stop a counterattack.
If there's one thing I learned from playing ZVT, it's that Terran is really freaking resilient. You know,
Yep.
like I'm like, oh, I totally like own that push, and then like I'm bulking up, and suddenly they have like more Marines than I have lings, and I'm like, what? Could you stop?
Dude, so walk it off was one of those things I hated growing up. Did you ever play baseball or like any sport that involved running?
I played all the sports, I guess.
Okay, well, I really hated it, and I don't know if you ever got this. Like, when you'd be running, and you'd have, like, the parents on the sideline or the coaches yelling, like, use both legs! Use both legs, run harder!
No, I never had that problem.
Oh, that was, like, the worst. That was the most, like, irritating thing. Anyways, the engagement comes down. Cealer actually has a not bad army, but it's not going to be enough at the end of the day. The small amount of Mutalisks and Roaches will be able to clean this up. He doesn't even need to fight this turret and go for the mineralize. He could just wipe the army, but... at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because the Roaches have nothing to really stop. The production from Terran, as you point out, is resilient, but there's 76 Zerglings coming out behind this.
I do like Cealer's plan to try and play it just really passive. Like after again the failed opening, you like because last game
Dude,
he just tried to play like a normal game, but this game at least he like get the 4 command center a lot earlier, try and play it till you're maxed to make up for the fact that it was so bad early on. Obviously still didn't work, but I think it was a better plan than last time.
Dude, so I want to give a big props to this missile turret and the little dude piloting inside, because this thing, it stood Roach fire, Mutalisk fire, Zerglings on it. Those SCPs repaired it like a badass. This thing probably took like 10 times its health and damage.
Okay, Jimrising, I think this is the kill move. Go for the gold, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, it better be. It's double the army supply at this point. But, I mean, this is where our joking aside comes back into the fact where you're like, Terran's very resilient. They are. Look how he's holding Jimrising from just A moving to win. But, despite the position, wow, actually, with Blue Flame Hellbats, those Zerglings can't get involved. He's got to get the connects with the Banelings. There we go. Thor,
well, now we can just fight with the Mutas. No, why are you leaving?
Jim, please. Jim, please.
Your 9 needs to fly up, bro. Just win it. You could take out that Thor.
He could, but I propose this alternate solution. You could run away as well.
Just take on the Thor and the Marines that are underneath it. Like.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you got a +1 missile upgrade. I'm not sure what that was for. I guess for the Roaches, like just in cases. Or maybe you should get Swarm Hosts. Well, he got a Hive, so never mind. He's like a Swarm Host.
Man, so PB brings up a good question. Just we're waiting. Are you going to be around for the Alima League this weekend, or how's this work with you being in DC and whatnot?
Yeah. I don't think it'll go till 12, but I would like it that
yeah, well, I mean, the Alima
past-
League always ends, like, what, 3 hours, 4 hours in that ballpark?
Yeah, like I'll run 11:30, which is what I'm planning for, right?
Cool.
So I'm definitely there. I may not get like the finals if it's like a particularly long one, but yeah.
I think Seed's playing this week, which I'm really excited about. I tweeted at him. I was like, please play. And he was like, okay. So heads up.
Yeah, guys, if you go to the Alima League thread and see who isn't playing and like tweet at them. Not like, don't be annoying, but...
Okay, well, big
Remind them.
collision of units here. Once again, the Banelings come in, but the Blue Flame Hellbats actually fry so many of these Zerglings alive. Jim is losing a lot of his fighting force, but he keeps the mutas alive. 226 Zerglings have gone down, and most of that to Blue Flame Hellbats, and it's really frustrating, but GG is finally called, and Jimrising will take the series 2-0. He'll move on to the winner's bracket to play against Ruff.